Hello, everyone. Dear Toastmasters and distinguished guests, good evening and a hearty welcome to the Toastmasters Leadership Institute session on HPL versus DTM Project in Pathways, hosted by District 105, PQD's TLI team. Let us remind ourselves of the mission of the district, which is we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Now, I would like to request all of you to follow certain etiquette rules of our online meeting. Number one, always keep your mobile phones on silent to avoid any distraction. Please keep your microphones muted during the session unless you are requested to speak. If you have any questions, please forward it as a private message to the moderator of the session, who is District 105 PQD's Distinguished Toastmaster, Rania. With that, I would like to welcome and hand over the proceedings to a highly motivated and dedicated member, the ever enthusiastic MC Madam Toastmaster, Mahara. Mahara Muhammad was made in Pakistan, but assembled in UAE. She joined Toastmaster in 2014 because she wanted to see her picture in the local magazine. She is serving as Vice President Education for Be Bold and Assistant Area Director for Program Quality, Area 32, Division I. Let's give her a big round of applause, and over to you, Toastmaster Mahara.
Thank you to our beautiful Sergeant at Arms, Ms. Surya. Thank you so much. So recently, I took up horse riding. And not because I love horses. I actually hated horses. I mean, they can smell funny, they're very stinky, and they can kick you. So it's really a dangerous sport. But I took up horse riding because I was told by someone that it would help me with weight loss. Apparently, horse riders have the best bodies out there amongst the athletes. They stand tall, they walk, with the perfect posture. And I wanted that. I wanted to lose weight and get that posture. But after I started horse riding, and today was my 4th class actually, I thought to myself, will I really stop after achieving my weight loss? Because we don't really get into things to stop halfway, do we? We don't put our children in school because we want them to stop after the 10th grade or stop after the 12th grade. We want them to go further. We want them to achieve the pinnacle of success. So I thought to myself, will I stop with this 4th lesson or after I lose weight? Because staying in shape and keeping the weight off isn't a guarantee, is it? So what will I have achieved if I put my weight back on after I stop horse riding? Nothing. I will forget the skill and I won't really achieve anything. And that's not what we want, is it? We don't want that for ourselves. We always want to go and achieve higher. And that's why we enter Toastmasters. We enter Toastmasters for many different reasons, but once we're inside, we want to achieve that pinnacle, the DTM. We want to be known as Distinguished Toastmaster Mahara Muhammad Habib. That's what I want for myself. Like Distinguished Toastmaster Rania, Distinguished Toastmaster Sujit Sukumaran. You want that ring. These people have gone all the way and they've achieved the pinnacle. And today we have with us a person that has achieved the pinnacle, and he will tell us the difference between achieving the pinnacle in the old format and the new format. And who better than a person who's achieved it twice, once in the legacy program and in pathways. He started his journey as a Cavalier. He spent 3 years as a Cavalier, to complete a total of 15 years in Toastmasters. He is the current Region 11 advisor and past District 20 director. He is also the youngest person to achieve DTM in Pathways, having achieved it in November of 2018. Professionally, DTM Sujit is a management consultant with his own firm, Optimus Management Consultants. He is also a lecturer at the University of West London and is currently a PhD scholar in strategic management at XLRI, India. Please put your hands together to welcome DTM Sujit Sukumaran. Thank you. The mic is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, and a warm welcome to everybody. Good to see all of you here. You know what they say, there are 1,000 reasons to do whatever you want on the weekend, even more reasons to do what you want on a weekday. So I can see that people are still trickling in, say around 20 people in the audience, but you don't expect everybody in Toastmasters to be enlightened. So those of you who have made it this far, congratulations for coming down all the way. I sincerely hope that you will take back the knowledge to your respective clubs and help fellow members in understanding what it's about. It's a bit surprising that we're doing this session in 2021 because 2018 was when Pathways was introduced, at least in our region and in Dubai and Oman and everywhere else, which was then part of District 20. But if we're still having doubts persisting 3 years from then, it means as leaders, with myself starting probably at the top of the echelon, we haven't done our job right. So that's something strange and alarming. So that's why who best to clean up the mess than probably people like me who contributed to the mess in the first place. So there's something we didn't do right. That's why these doubts are coming, because I can see all the names on the right on Zoom and none of them are new members. Most of them, I've known them for multiple years. So I hope it's more your thirst for knowledge and wanting to become a beacon to your respective clubs is the reason why you're here. And it's not because you still don't know what the real difference between a DTM project and an HPL is. If that's the case, I'm like really shocked. I hope this is more like a train the trainer session, because all the names on the right, I've known them at least for the last 5 years. Half of them are already DTMs. They're very, very close friends of mine. So I hope it's the latter. Anyway, whatever it is, it's always good to learn be a fresh student and take things from start. So I'll request Ram to load the presentation slides and then we can take it forward. Yeah. So today's project, the session is about DTM versus the HPL project, key considerations. So I'll skip through the perfunctories. All of you know that we have 11 parts, including engaging humor, which is the latest edition. Humor always comes in last. So that's what they did. They found out that we had more competencies to explore, and engaging humor was the last to join. I believe there's, as a regional advisor, we have been given information that they're still working on few more parts and few more tweaks to the existing pathways program. The first of which you saw probably last week with a new level 1 being introduced. So as we speak, you know, this pathway is going to be a work in progress. So we will keep needing to keep having to do these sessions over and over again, because the program, as we know, is a program in progress. It's a program in evolution. So 11 parts are available. In case some of you still don't know how many parts are available, these are the parts that are available under pathways. Next slide, please, Ram. So the first thing you need to know before you even think about whether you want to do an HPL project or a DTM project is what path to choose. Now, probably a lot of you have been through this already, but and the suggestion on the website is probably through a battery of questions. I personally have found it extremely gameable, because the quality of suggestions of paths depends totally on the inputs you give in terms of the answers to the questions. Whereas when you're taking those questions, you may not be qualified to understand what lies inside each path. So one of the methods which I found useful for me personally, and that's why I put it on this slide, is something called the PPE system. With PPE being personal protective equipment, that's not what we want to say here, even though COVID is around still very much in our lives. But PPE here means personal, professional, and excellence. So take one path to challenge areas where you're not strong. For example, a lot of people don't agree, but I still feel I suck bad at humor. So engaging humor would be one of the paths I would take for improving myself personally. Professional is probably to hone the skills required in your profession, depending upon what profession you're part of. If you are in a profession which requires sales, or if you're an academic like me, you can do various communicative parts like visionary communication, or even presentation mastery or stuff like that. If you're in a mentoring capacity, there are coaching pathways. So depending on that, you can choose paths required in your profession. And lastly, there are some skills you're already good at. Like, for example, some people are very good at humor. So then take engaging humor, but use it to improve a genre of humor that you're not good at. Probably you're not good at stand up, you're good at impressionist humor, you're good at slapstick comedy or whatever. But the projects, if you love them deeply enough, if you look into them deeply enough, they give you enough scope. It's like a buffet. You can choose and select whatever you want and have your pick. Now, when we talk about this, there's something called path peculiarity. And this perhaps is one of the things that people ignore when they choose paths. Okay, like basically, the paths, effective coaching, innovative planning, and persuasive influence, they have an HPL. There is a 6-month leading a team project, which is part of dynamic leadership, team collaboration, and strategic relationships paths. In presentation mastery, you have a longer presentation, which you should do at the end of the path. For visionary communication, it's a speech called Develop Your Vision, which again is a self-motivated, self-driven thing. Leadership development ends with creating a successful event. Motivational strategies ends with team building through a successful event again. But the requirements are a bit different in the team building part, motivating them and all. And engaging humor deals with delivering your message with humor. Now here, when you look at these things, if you are a person who does not like to leave the success of your paths to the eccentricities of anybody else, now there's always a danger when you team up with people. Suppose somebody pulls out of the assignment in between, he gets transferred, he loses his job, he loses interest, or he does not want to be with you anymore or something, your entire project will go for a toss. So if you're a lone wolf, I don't encourage becoming a lone wolf, but if you're a lone wolf, then take the paths which have concluding projects which do not involve many different members. Because with these COVID times, it's quite difficult to interact. You can do it via Zoom and all that, but may not be as effective as it was during face-to-face communication time. So these are the path peculiarities, certain caveats you should be aware about before you choose your paths. Now, going to the DTM versus HPL. Now, this is the core part of the meat of the sandwich, or if you're vegetarian, the vegetables in the sandwich as we speak. This is the core part of a lot of this is already there on the TMI website, and when better to talk about this than this month and last month, because October 2021, the Toastmasters magazine has an article on this, exactly the same topic. What is the difference between the DTM and the HPL project? A lot of us don't read the magazine anymore because it doesn't come physically to us. It just comes like an online link. Sometimes they send it by email, but now I've seen they've stopped sending the email also. So we really don't know what is part of the magazine this month. Some proactive area directors, division directors are sending it in WhatsApp groups of the club. At least that way we know what is the cover story. But this DTM versus HPL, very deep focus is the thing which is being discussed in the October 2021 magazine. So let's go into the specific requirements. Both the DTM and the HPL require the member to show leadership of a team, meaning you will need to have a team working for you to get and working with you to get certain objectives fulfilled. In the HPL, of course, there is one more additional requirement of a guidance committee where somebody must be guiding you, reviewing, and helping you out also. Now, the key difference is the DTM project must necessarily benefit an organization, such as the member's employer, another non-profit organization, or a Toastmasters club, area, or a district. This is the only part where you see this, a Toastmasters club, area, or a district. This is the only part where it has some parallel with the DTM capstone project or similar projects. The HPL project, however, does not have a stipulation, which means you can do any kind of project under the HPL project, which does not have to benefit an organization. Like personally, I was talking to Rania 2 weeks ago, and we have a member, and I'm not encouraging this as a good HPL project, but we had a member who did the organization of his daughter's marriage as an HPL project. I'm not joking, like seriously, because he had to get a lot of approvals and all those kind of things, and he did a kind of Bollywood kind of themed wedding with arranging for 2,500 guests and all those kind of things. He did it, and it was meticulous because I was not on the guidance committee of this HPL, but I remember seeing it, and it was so like, it looked more like a PMP final project submission, with milestone Gantt chart, this date to this date, this expense, this resource, meticulous. Of course, it's a project of passion. If you're an Indian dad, your daughter's getting married, big deal. So it was really nicely done. The intention was very noble, and he definitely put in a lot of hard work. And we saw the video and all the quality of whatever food and all that stuff. So proof was also there, nothing wrong. But now the question in your mind will be, okay, then what is the use of somebody working hard and somebody winging it and choosing an easier project? Now, here is where the ethical dilemma or the conflict in terms of HPL and DTM comes. See, you are in this for you. Is DTM to you only a badge on the chest just to show off in front of some people or get some brownie points? If so, take it easy. We are not moral police. We are not going to tell you that this project is better than that. Nobody has the authority to tell you what is a good project and a bad project, because Toastmasters program is a self-paced, self-learning program. However, the only stark difference is in point number 2, which is that the DTM project must benefit an organization necessarily. HPL project need not. The third point is that HPL projects are a level 5 project, either as an elective or a requirement depending on the path. It varies from path to path. Unlike an HPL project, and this is the core difference, the DTM project does not have to have the oversight and approval of a committee attached to it as the HPL project does. Now, this is important because this is something like getting a PhD guide. Sometimes in between, in the beginning, you both will be friendly with each other. Then you won't see eye to eye. Then the guidance committee will say, I will not sign your manual and give you. I will not attest. You didn't do it according to what I thought you will do. Or sometimes some people just like to play some ego games, just to make you cry at the end. Simply they will do some nonsense. Then all your hard work will go down the drain. I have seen in my 15 years in Toastmasters, at least 7 people who had to restart their HPL because their guidance committee went crazy. Rania is nodding, but I don't know. But this is true because Rania knows, and I also know, we know 6 or 7 very good high potential people, out of which 2 or 3 people left Toastmasters because they're like, my whole life I worked for a DTM. I made a mistake of choosing a path in which an HPL was involved, and I took this superstar guy who is a super DTM, very nice guy, respected fellow, but he turns out to be a nightmare fellow when it comes to guiding me on my HPL. See, you need to understand, somebody who's a good speaker, somebody who's a past district leader or an area director or a division director who is a rock star need not be a great HPL guidance committee person. He or she might have his ego, his or her vested interest in ensuring that you get delayed and not get your DTM or whatever. So choose your guidance committee wisely and do not rely on the PQD or the district team to come up with who is your right HPL committee leader. That needs to be a choice you need to take. It's like getting married. Be very careful. If you divorce, you will go 4 years behind your target in terms of achieving DTM. So, which is why DTM project paths are slightly better than HPL. because of two reasons. HPL projects are usually longer, plus they depend on the eccentricity of these guidance committee people. But of course, if your guidance committee is amazing, if your working committee is very nice, like I remember when I did my HPL in the legacy program, I had a beautiful guidance committee, exceptional working committee who really helped me like anything to complete my DTM. But you must be blessed to get that kind of a team. Then members working towards a DTM usually build a team and are reviewed by the team and can work on fully individual projects without the assistance of others to complete the task. So what is the competency tested here? That you should develop certain kind of leadership competencies, certain kind of communicative competencies, what you did not have before. Now here is where I have a conflict of interest. There are people who do things like organizing a special club meeting or organizing an area contest or a division contest as part of their HPL or their DTM project when they are in the role that demands them to do that. Like if you're an area director, doing an area contest is a given. They are like, okay, why not I organize that? Because anyway, they will listen to me only this year. I'll get the work easily done and I can do this and clock it in for my DTM or HPL project also. Nothing wrong with that. You can do it. But the honest question you want to ask yourself is, why are you doing what you are doing? Is it just to tick a tick mark on the box checklist? If that is the case, go ahead and do it. It is allowed. It is not wrong. It is not breaking any rules. But personally ask yourself, what is the learning I am getting from this? If you are not getting a wonderful learning, don't waste your time, because your time is precious if nothing else. Or if you are somebody who's like very tired, like I've been a Toastmaster for 25 years and now my VP education is putting the gun on my head. This is the only thing I have to complete. Okay, then fine. But if you are a new member, like I don't believe in Michael Schumacher Toastmasters. Meaning there's no point of, you see in the history of whole of district 79, 20, 105 and whatever districts have gone between us till the point we are now. You see in the history of all these last 15, 20 years, I can tell you, those who were the Schumacher Toastmasters, like flash and bang people, who completed a qualification within 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, like tour packages to Pattaya, 3 days, 4 nights. You see them after 3 years, they will not be active in Toastmasters anymore. Either they have moved on or they will put one Facebook post that now I have discovered a new girlfriend, new pastime, new pastures, I am moving on, or they will put some YouTube video saying my talents would be better utilized somewhere else. What does this mean? That they're getting burnt out. They haven't extracted as much from the program that is there to offer them. Of course, different strokes for different folks. To tell you the truth, when I did my first DTM, I took 6 years. For pathways, I took only 6 months. Now you will say, okay, then you're contradicting what you're saying. Why? Because my goal at that time was to see how quickly this system can be cracked. Because I wanted to explore, okay, where we'll get stuck. And I understood that for a past leader, it is very, very easy because all the leadership goals are already done. Did I learn very much from 6 months breaking DTM in pathways? Not really. Did it affect me badly? Not really, because I already had decent amount of competencies. Will I do it differently? Of course. Now, if I get time, of course, I'm much more mature now, more older. I have more exposure, more experience. If I were to do another DTM, which I'm not going to do, because I don't believe in sitting in the same class and learning over and over again. I don't think it's much of value addition. But if I ever do a third DTM, then I will take it very, very slow. I will take only the parts which are exceptionally difficult for me. And I will set a goal that I personally want to improve upon. Because think of it this way, you are getting a lot of free resources, mentors, people to listen to you, give you feedback, a system where people will clap even if you do utter nonsense and still improve. All these kind of resources are available for you. If you are not taking advantage and doing a sincere project, who is to blame? It's only you. Next slide, please, Ram. General requirements. Before beginning a DTM project, the member must have completed one pathways path and at least 3 levels of a second path. And the main thing is you must have completed 2 full paths before receiving your DTM award. As with the HPL, even in this, the member must develop a project plan, build a team, and lead them in carrying out the program. New elements in the new program, which was not there before, include a 360-degree evaluation by the team, peer review, and you need to name the organization benefiting from the work also. Next slide, please. Yeah, other observations, speeches durations are different. In HPL, both speeches 1 and 2 are from 5 to 7 minutes. In the DTM project, one speech is 5 to 7 minutes and the other one is 8 to 10 minutes in length. The DTM project, and this is the important point, is ideally a culmination of the reflections or learnings on the path. Now, this is a point where many people get confused. But I don't have any reflections from the path. What can I talk about? Or I don't have any learnings on the path. This means you are in zombie mode. You didn't do the project properly. Ideally, you should have a diary to understand what you're learning. If you're not learning anything, that means it's like driving in the car to your home. It's second nature. That means you don't need a DTM. You're already pro in this. But anyone who is really sincere will have some learnings on the path, and if needed, and this point is mentioned also, that if needed, a person can revisit the topic covered in an earlier pathways project. And I have got this query a lot from people who work in corporate Toastmasters clubs. They're like, we are doing a project and we talked about it, we took the project management path and we talked about it in one of our projects. Can we take that same project and do an HPL or a DTM on that? There is no restriction like that. But ideally, then it should be starting only from the point that you start the project. You cannot sandbag, meaning that already 3/4 of the project are completed. You cannot backdate and rewind and start the 3/4 completed project from starting and then only work live on the remaining 1/4. That is not allowed, because then you're not learning anything, right? You're just claiming credit for an almost done project. Lastly, the DTM project is intended to be a project of one's own creation and design. And as such, it is preferred that members do not, in the DTM project, use projects and roles that are predefined by Toastmasters International. So ideally, it is preferred. Here also you see the verbiage. They are not saying it's compulsory, you cannot use projects and roles defined by TMI, but they themselves are saying, if you do our own things, what are you going to learn? The organization will benefit, we will not. Okay, now these two slides, of course, you cannot see it in Zoom. Rania will send you these slides for all the attendees at the end of the session. If you click this, it is hyperlinked. There is a couple called Karen Story, and I forgot her husband's name. I think it's Mike Story and Karen Story. These guys in District 57, they made a pathways Basecamp cheat sheet. And in the other slide also, there is one more. The next slide, Ram. If you can change, yeah, this one is a pathways encyclopedia and digest. If you click this, it will lead you to a web page where each of the topics, whatever you can think of in pathways, is segmented by alphabetical order, as well as the evaluation sheets and resources. Everything is there. So if you want to print it out, it's a 700-page printout. But if you want to go online, you can easily access all of this. And in case something is there out of the encyclopedia, out of syllabus, or out of the Basecamp cheat sheet and all that, we are always there in case you want to clarify any queries. So session ends here. Any Q&A, which is the most interesting part, I'll be happy to take now.
Thank you so much, DTM Sujit, for giving us this or clearing the mystery in a very straightforward manner. I have a couple of questions already that basically reach me privately by email or text, but let's see if there are any questions from the crowd in the house. We can put it in the chat, or let's start with what I have, and then we can follow the questions that will come from the audience. Maybe some of them will be similar. Okay. One of the questions I received is, can the HPL or a DTM project be a YLP or a speechcraft?
Yes, it can, but the only caveat is then you cannot claim credit twice. You got it?
This is the confusion. What do you mean cannot claim it twice?
See, because when you go for the advanced leader, the credit, you have an option where you can, you have a YLP speechcraft, and one more thing, you can file for getting the advanced leader credit. If you are claiming it there, then you cannot also claim it here under your HPL or DTM project. You cannot hit two birds with one stone. It's not ethically permissible.
So if
That
you do
many people have tried to do this, and they have written to TI, and they have not written to TI. They have been oversmart and they've already went and logged. And then Jonathan or somebody from TI has written back to them saying, please clarify for what you want to use this. You cannot use it again and again. It's same like, for example, you and me, suppose we want, you need to serve as a district leader also. So you only served as area director once. One time you got a DTM. You cannot reuse that area director again for another DTM. You have to serve as something else, right? So same principle applies.
Yes, so credits cannot be reused. If you do it on one HPL for this, then you have to do another HPL for a different purpose. Namrata, can you put your question in the chat, please, if you may? Okay. Another question I got, maybe you answered it in the during the, what good suggestions for an HPL or DTM project? There's also one of the questions.
There are plenty. There are plenty. Just remember the one main thing is that a DTM project and an HPL, what is the key difference? If you go back to the slide, Ram, can you pull that slide back? There is one slide where we have the second point, which is the key difference. No, the one before. Yeah.
The next follow. Next one.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. See, the DTM project must benefit an organization. So if you're taking a DTM project, necessarily your project has to be professional or organizational beneficial in nature. HPL means you can do anything. Like we had DTM Saumya Rangarajan from Desert Divas. She had done something on, I think, building a garden in her balcony or something like that. Very interesting project about how to do organic farming and building a garden in her balcony. Beautiful project. And I was one of the guidance committee members for that. And of course, the proof was definitely there in her garden. There were cucumbers and tomatoes and everything. So there's no doubt of the fact that she actually did the project. But what organization did it benefit? It would have been a wonderful HPL project, which it was. But it's definitely not a DTM project. So it worked for her HPL, and the path she took needed an HPL. So it was valid. But you cannot do like a daughter's marriage or some garden or something like this as a DTM project, because the caveat is it must benefit an organization. It is why I'm not giving you topics is because it is not upon us as previous DTMs, or it's not even upon the trio, and TI expressively forbids it that we recommend a list of projects to you, because you are encouraged to use your creativity. But of course, having said that, if you have any doubts, you can always write to the PQD. Is this an allowable project under DTM or HPL? And I'm sure the PQD has a list of experts in the district who can definitely vouch for what category it will fit under. But do not outsource your brains to us. Only send your confusions to us. If you are confused, we will clarify. Do not make us to do the thinking, because you have to grow as a leader also, right? So that's the idea. Yes, Rania, next question.
I agree. So the question is, two questions in the chat. If you do a YLP twice, can we use it as a DTM project? So one for YLP and the second as a DTM project?
You can.
Because it's also helping an organization. You have to specify which youth leadership, let's say, organization or institute.
If you do two, you can use one for one, one for the other one. No problem.
I hope this answered your question, Amrita. Okay. The other question, how essential is it for the DTM project to be completed successfully if all other requirements are met with an unsuccessful project, one that doesn't achieve its objectives qualify?
This is a very good question. It's a very, very good question. Why? Because the DTM project or the HPL or any of the projects for that matter, from your icebreaker onwards in level 1 till level 5, even when you get an evaluation, what is the maximum that an evaluator says that he did not meet the objectives? Does he compel you to repeat it, or are you not going to get credit for it? No. Even for an HPL and DTM project, even when you fail, as long as you have learned something from the exercise and why it was not successful, Then if you record that this is the reason why I failed, it's considered 100% bona fide submission. Nothing wrong with it. Provided you learn something. That's why you see in that slide, there is learnings and reflection. If you don't have any learning and reflection, then game over. Then it doesn't matter whether you passed or failed or what. But as long as, even if you feel it is not successful, you at least researched on something and embarked upon a journey of discovery. Yes, that's all that TI requires. Nothing else is needed. Of course, your guidance committee guys might ask 150 other things, which is why you need to ensure that the guidance committee people are human and not sadistic people. Otherwise, then you will never get your DTM. But you need to ensure this emotional intelligence. See, leadership is also about a lot of emotional intelligence. So you need to know who to choose, how moody they are, how eccentric they are. Accordingly, you will be successful. A lot of life's problems are avoided by networking with the right people. So this is the greatest leadership lesson. Yes, Rania.
So there's a follow-up question. Okay, so in the DTM project, you don't have a guidance committee. So who verifies the project? The person himself or the VP education?
The DTM project?
Yeah, because there's no guidance committee. So who verifies?
The
person himself, the team, or the VPE?
See, internal work, operational verification must be done by the team. But here, there are also DTM projects which may not involve a team. Like, for example, visionary communication is just a long speech. Like I did that part. I just went and did a keynote, a long speech. Nobody was there to verify. Of course, one evaluator was there. He said, I did really well. That is the only verification. Then everybody clapped. We had samosas. They came and said, wonderful speech. This is a secondary verification. That's all. Then you submit it. See, the greatest verifier is you. If you feel proud in the chest, but weak in the heart, and this is a very significant statement I'm making. Proud in the chest and weak in the heart. Proud in the chest because the day you complete it, you feel like, oh, wow, I've done something great. But inside, you know, yeah, I didn't do it that well. I didn't do it honestly. So if you feel proud in the chest and weak in the heart, that is your greatest compass. If your integrity is weak and you know that you've fudged it, you will live with the disgrace and curse on your head. Nobody else will know, but you will know that you fudged it. And wearing this badge then is no use, because one of the 4 core values, which is integrity, that is very important one, that is totally thrown out of the window. So you are the greatest judge. Operational verification can be done by the team. Framework verification, or in terms of ticking the boxes and all the things, components are done, the VP education can do prior to submission. But the greatest judge of sufficiency of the project is you. When you look at yourself in the mirror the next day, have you improved from yesterday as a result of doing this? If you can smile and feel proud in the chest and the heart both, and you can smile proudly, that means it's 100% compliant.
That's right. A weight loss program over 3 months for friends group, will this qualify for a DTM project? Involved are 13 families.
Which path is this DTM project?
Which path?
It's a very good project, but which?
Yeah, it's a very good project. I don't know, it doesn't specify which path. Can you please, whoever asked the question, put which path?
Because it has to be allowable under the competencies measured in that path. By nature of the project, it is allowable. But if it is engaging humor and you're doing this, I don't know whether you're trying to make fun of the people who didn't lose weight or what. So you have to think about what is the applicability of that kind of topic under the path you are pursuing. Then it is 100% okay, no problem.
Yeah. So it has to be relevant to the path that you're working on to support. Okay.
See, having said that, having said that, even if this person does this kind of project as a DTM project capstone, the long speech for visionary communication, and he or she is able to complete it in 8 to 10 minutes and has a PowerPoint slide of 2 or 3 slides and shows before and after, and this is the change begins with you, Mahatma Gandhi, that's how I started it. That's fine, because they are inspiring. Then they'll say, okay, you coach me also. That's fine. So they communicated the vision. They said we had a plan, we had resources, we all met, we all lost weight. Now we are going to put on the weight again, hopefully not. If they say that, that's fair enough. So
it's motivational strategies.
Correct. Either it needs to fit correctly within the path what you're doing, or you find a way. You can do it in coaching, you can do it in motivational strategies, you can do it in visionary communication, whatever it is. If you have a project, if you're not sure whether it fits in, and I feel that most genres of projects can be easily fit into all the 11 parts except engaging humor. I don't know how you
Yes.
can fit weight loss into engaging humor, but other than that, I think you can fit it into any other path without a problem, provided you define the scope very well.
The competencies.
First thing, like I said, it starts from the root. Know the path you are choosing and start with the end in mind. Then a lot of your problem will get solved.
Another interesting, how do you choose a guidance committee? I know we answered that maybe before several times, but again, I got it actually from 3 individuals.
Okay.
So now they're scared.
After Indian
Actually, it was a requirement for us in the legacy program. HPL, we couldn't get a DTM without a guidance committee.
Correct. See, after Indian matrimonials, this is the second most complicated thing to do in the whole world, choosing the right the guidance committee. Why? Because there is no guidance about how to choose a guidance committee. Because who is the good guidance committee? Are they a person who is having DTM? Sometimes some DTM means don't talk to me. Like there are DTMs like this, like don't touch me and don't talk to me. These 2 category people are there in DTM. So, but they must be fantastic speakers, or they will come on stage and win trophies. They will become area director, division director, whatever. But they're more concerned about themselves than you. They are not interested in you. So choose guidance committees, one who knows the way and who is willing to show the way and who has gone the way. So one who is knowing the way, who is willing to show the way, and who has gone the way. This is very important. The second one is extremely important. If I know and I have gone, but I don't want to show you, then there's no use of choosing me as this one, number 1. Number 2, choose somebody who is not extremely busy. Like I know Rania catches me for many things, but now we both are adjusted very well to each other. So she knows my time constraints. She calls me at the correct time, so she's able to get me. But even if I have an intention to help you, if my head and brains and heart are in different places, you may not get the best of me. So get somebody who is having time for you and who is genuinely interested in you. This is the second qualification of a fantastic guidance committee member. Third, it is reasonably better if you know somebody who is a guidance committee person whose professional area of competence or passionate area of competence is in the area you are doing your project. Like I once had a person come to me saying that I am doing some engineering related, Six Sigma related project in my company. I want you to be my guidance committee member. So I said, listen, I would love to, but I have no idea about engineering. Neither do I know about Six Sigma very well. I know it only from a theoretical perspective. So even if you achieve something or you fail, I will not know what is a failure or what is an achievement. So though I am a wonderful Toastmaster, I am a knowledgeable Toastmaster, I don't have domain knowledge in your area. The only way I can support you is if the first guidance committee member is a domain specialist. Then I can be a support person for ensuring the project is being done properly, but I don't have domain expertise. So knowledge, willingness, time, as well as domain expertise. These 4 things need to be complied. That is a bare minimum. And ideally, though it's not mandatory, but ideally a DTM themselves.
Is it compulsory? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Are you done, Sujit?
Yeah,
is it compulsory that the introductory speech and the conclusion speech need to be done in their own club? Can it be done as part of the program, also the Toastmaster meeting, but evaluated by a Toastmaster? So for example,
I'll tell you what happened for me. I remember this one when I did. Yeah, Mamun Qasim was my evaluator in Star of Arabia. He did the first evaluation before starting in Star of Arabia. Later on, some reason Star of Arabia we could not have meetings, or either Mamun was traveling or I was not able to make it to SOA meetings. So what we did is Mamun came and picked me up, and we went to another club and did the thing there. And we told like 75% of our club members to attend over there on that day. So it need not be your club, but at least couple of members who heard the first speech must be available in the audience in the second one also. And the same evaluator who evaluated you in the first time must be there in the end also, so that he knows what has elapsed in between. That is
In the Toastmaster website, it says we have to request Toastmasters to send us the DTM path after finishing level 3. Yes, it's a request because you cannot find it in pathways. So you have to send an email. You have to send an email to TMI, to education at toastmasters.org, at education program, and you have to request them to activate it, because you will not see it activated.
Correct. It takes 48 hours. It takes 48 hours.
Yes, to be activated.
And one more thing is, if you press complete on that DTM project last one button also, doesn't mean your DTM is going to be automatically awarded. You have to fill the form also.
There's a form as well.
Fill the form also. Press that complete button. The form will then go by email. They will manually cross-verify it against your Basecamp credentials. It will take 24 to 48 hours. So if your VP education is pressurizing you, we need 1 DTM credit and we need to print the poster and all, don't keep this in the last moment, in the holiday time and all. Nothing is going to happen. Plan in advance. I know a lot of guys, DTMs, who think their job is done when they press that button. But you have to send the form and chase them up, get it approved. Like when I did my DTM November 2018, Alok Tuteja, who is now done his 4th DTM, he was very close to me. And close to me in terms of the DTM achievement. As friends, we are still close, no doubt about it. But it was a race. It's like, who will do first? So what happened is, I was like left, right, center. I knew, because who called me? I think somewhere around August or September, Halim called me and said, boss, you have been sleeping after August. You have not been doing many projects. You see, this Alok is blasting left, right, and center. He is doing projects. If you don't wake up, I think Abu Dhabi will take the first DTM. Then it's a very sad thing. I said, I don't really care, but if Alok is doing it, okay, then I'll wake up and finish it off. What's the big deal? So what happened is, Alok and me submitted it in the same time. But I was quite persistent and meticulous, calling WHQ every day, left, right, and center. Finally, they got irritated, or whatever it is, I don't know, maybe past district leader or whatever. They approved mine in the first batch, but they approved Alok's in the batch after me, because Alok had submitted the complete, he had pressed the complete button, but he had not submitted the form yet. So what happened? My DTM got approved, I think, on 18th of October or something like that, 2018. He's got 1 week after that, which is, I think, 23rd or 24th of October, exactly in the next clearance cycle. Whereas the fun part is, he had completed much before me. And he had pressed the button and everything, but his full process was not completed. So ensure all the steps are well done.
Yeah. So you have to, first of all, to activate it, and you have to fill in the form. It has to be submitted. Pressing the button will not get it, and they'll verify it. I mean, DTM project is the only one that they basically manually verify it. If nothing is incomplete, they'll tell you it's not incomplete. Yes.
Usually, when they're busy, they won't really go down to the nitty-gritty. But there are some examples where they have called on mobile phone your HPL guidance committee members and asked, really, did this guy do this project?
Yes.
They have done it. And some HPL guys, they have been irritating because they had a Game of Thrones issue with the guy, with the person they were guiding. They said, no, he is still yet to complete 5 or 6 milestones, and that guy didn't get his DTM. Don't be scared. I know it's just 1 day after Halloween. My intention is not to scare you, but please choose the guidance committee properly, or else you will run into all these problems. I have done enough DTMs to know that what is the eccentricity of a guidance committee person. So please choose them properly and wisely. Your lot of BP and heart issues will be sorted out if you do that.
All right. The second question. In the HPL project, the first speech, who is the audience? Is it the guidance committee or the club members?
Club members.
Both projects, it should be in the club. Project 1, project 2, even in the DTM project, you should present it at the club level.
See,
So
this
if
is
you
a
look
very,
at the,
it's a very sacred thing, because a lot of people
yeah,
don't understand that the club is your first house.
Yep.
It's your first family. That's where you start. Your home club, these are the people who have invested time and affection and love and encouragement into you to ensure that you are a DTM or whatever you become from then on and therefore. So TM, I don't know by design or by desire, whatever, they have kept this as a requirement that you keep it within your home club, because they are the people who know you the best. They are the people who ideally will follow you and your developments and your growth and all that. That's why this is a requirement in the home club. Yes, Rania.
now in the DTM project, it says how many members should be there in a team, because there's no specification. In HPL, it's in the new one, it's 3, right? Before it was 2, now it's 3. They raised the number to 3 members. In the DTM project, is there any minimum number for a team? If there's a team?
See, if there's a team, mathematically, logically, there should be minimum 2. Without that, it's not a team, it's a single person. And if you ask me personally, I'm not a fan of too many cooks, because they spoil the broth. You have too many team members, then the project will be not about the project, it will be about managing the team. So you need to get the milestones also done. Keep teams lean, probably 2 to max 3 members, but more than that, define your scope, because based on what you intend to get done, that will give you an idea whether this can be done by a 2-member team, 3-member, 5-member, 10-member, 20-member team, how many ever resources you need. Like
and
I
a follow-up
remember,
question? Yes.
just to add on that, I remember first time, of course, this is not relevant to pathways, but when I did the legacy program, my DTM was based on, no, that I didn't put for a DTM, but yeah, I was intending to do it as a DTM project, because I had an intention to do 3 DTMs at that time, but I had done something called 100 days of education, where we had contributors from all 7 countries. They were contributing PowerPoint presentations and different resources for a district knowledge repository. So there I had a team, editorial team of around 5 or 7 people, one each in each country to collect the things. I had English and Arabic team members, because some material used to come in Arabic, so somebody needs to vet the quality. And all my people, around 40 plus PowerPoint presentations and resources, whoever were the authors of that, they were all my working committee. So I had around 47 plus 5, 52 people working on that project, because of course it was spread across 7 countries. So you need that many people. So it depends on how ambitious your project is. You can even do a simple thematic thing which is very short, or you can do something very ambitious like this.
And another question, but in the HPL, there must be a team minimum of 3 members. That's compulsory.
Yes, that's compulsory, because it's written.
That's an HPL, you must have 3. Okay. And no, there are a lot of resources in the HPL and DTM. When you go to the manual, there are a lot of resources. The like, for example, the project plan overview, and all these things. Is it mandatory to fill these forms?
I'm on camera, so I can't say yes or no. But the point is, see, if you ask me, the first time I did my first DTM, right, I filled all these things because I didn't know how and what. Second time I did the DTM under pathways, I didn't fill all these things at the time of doing it. But after I finished everything, I filled it just for reflection and learning purpose. So what was different in attempt 1 and attempt 2? Attempt 1, I didn't know anything about it. So I wanted to learn in a structured way what was going on. In the attempt 2, I've already been there, done that, but I just did it for recording purpose. If it is your first DTM, you do not know what these tools are, by all means, please fill them, because they will give you vital experience as to how to plan. If it is your second DTM, third or fourth, it is like making children, one you make, what is the headache involved. Then you make 2, 3, it's the same thing. Everyone is okay. Process is somewhat similar. Only thing, management is a bit different. So first time you do it with lot of meticulous care, and it will help you in sealing your foundation very well. But repeat attempts, and I do not know, I hope and pray many of you will become 4 and 5 DTMs. I personally do not have the stamina for that, but you, multiple times when you're doing it, it's not so strict. Like you can keep it only as a resource document more than anything else. TI will not ask to file this or provide this as proof.
No.
Only thing, there is one place called My Files inside your Pathways
Basecamp.
Yeah.
If you want to stay.
If you want to.
Yeah, it's optional. All right. Okay, there is another one. Yes, now in the description of the DTM project, it should reflect on the path. Now we finished 2 paths. So which path to reflect on? One of these 2 paths or the current path? This is the question.
See, it depends on how related your DTM project is to which path. What is the degree of correlation between the path you wish to choose to reflect upon, and how connected is it to your DTM project topic or your HPL topic? Based on that, see, because if you, give me an example, like you want to take the same weight loss example, if you are doing that as motivational strategies is one path, and something like engaging humor is the second path, obviously you will choose it as motivational strategies reflection, right? Because more related to that. Simple. So it depends on your topic and how it can connect to that.
I didn't see any more questions, and I think we're just on time. So I think thank you so much. There's one question from Alan. I didn't understand it, so maybe if you put it again in the chat to rephrase it, then we can answer it offline. So thank you again so much for this interactive session. I always enjoy the Q&A more than the session myself, because there's a lot of details come out of the interaction with the audience, and the things that you miss covering in the presentation, you just remember, oh yes, I have to mention this and that. So I think we've covered most of it, and I hope our dear members and audience, those who know it well, it was a refresher for them. Those who hear it for the first time, I did a job very well, and now you know exactly what is an HPL and what is a DTM. So DTM is the same as capstone, yet there's another question here. Is it the same? DTM is the same as capstone? So it's a nickname
more or less,
for DTM project.
Yeah.
More
See, what is a
It's
capstone?
a nickname.
Capstone means it's a terminal. See, capstone usually, if you see the pyramids of Egypt and all, it used to have a limestone top, which used to make it like really shiny and all that. So capstone basically means whatever is the underneath. Like even in early Rome, when they used to construct these fancy marble things, on the bottom they'll have concrete or some cheaper material or some refining material. On top of that, they used to blanket it with marble, so it will look like a fantastic thing. So what this capstone intends to do is, whatever learning and whatever work in progress draft items are inside you until that point of time, you wear this cap and then everything becomes professional after that. So it's actually a terminal thing, which is a beautification kind of thing. Like, okay, you see on my chest there is a region advisor badge. Doesn't show how much struggle I have gone through to get this badge. You only see the badge and feel nice. Or you see somebody's, like DTM in the olden days, it used to be really fancy because you get a golden colored badge. Now it looks like a very, burgundy colored badge. When it first came out, I used to think people used to be part of Starship Enterprise or something like that. Or they used to work for a travel agency with the kind of colors they had, but nothing to compare with the old school badges. The DTM was golden in color. Then you had advanced able Toastmasters and all those things. And you had that Toastmasters T and the gavel in gold embossed. So that was the main reason people like me joined Toastmasters. By the time we got our badges, even for the DTM plaque, before it was a wonderful wooden mahogany or similar kind of thing, real wood, like not made in China, like how it is coming now. Now you have some number plate kind of thing, it's gone all over the place. Nothing to fault Toastmasters, but somewhere cost cutting, global recession, many things have happened. So somewhere I think Pathways is a program also, of course, it's a definite improvement over the old school manual based program. But somewhere now that they have woken up, reintroducing level 1 similar to half of CC, I think they will come up with a level 1B also, which is the full CC program, which is something at least which many of our members need. And of course, they are also learning. At least one good thing is they are taking our feedback now. So I'm happy about it. As a region advisor, we are also providing feedback, and they are very accommodative with that. So
Took
whatever
us
it is,
4 years to
just-
change level 1.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
don't worry. Just because the DTM has changed from wood to something which looks like a metallic plate, the program is still very good. Nothing to worry about.
That's true.
Just because the badges have changed in color, don't worry about it. You now have more fancier pins for each level path completion. And though I don't like all these things, if you ask me, Rania knows and Rajendra Verma and others will know, I don't really choose to go around with a badge also, because my goal for all of you is, if they are able to say you are distinguished by looking at your face and the way you behave, even without a badge, that is the true proof of leadership and communication ability. If despite a badge, they wonder, oh, from where this guy came and where he got a DTM from, then something is wrong. Like Bernard Shaw said, some people bring happiness wherever they go. Some others bring happiness whenever they go. Try not to be the second type. That is the main thing in communication leadership. You can't please everybody, but try not to be the second type in thought, word, or action, and automatically you will have high performance leadership. Automatically you will be distinguished, badge or otherwise. Strive to create a memory and strive to leave a legacy wherever you go. That is more important. Projects will follow later. Over to you, Rania.
That's true. And the last question, it's a basic, very nice. How much time will it take us to be as inspiring as you?
I don't see one shortcut I can tell you to become immediately inspiring. As soon as possible, get married. As soon as possible, have a kid who is under 5 years old, because the number of ideas you need to survive both marriage and a young kid at home automatically will make you a lot more innovative. And yes, if you're already done both of that, try to become a grandfather as soon as possible or a grandmother as soon as possible, because you become more like full reboot. It's again high performance leadership, and distinction is coming one more time in your life. So inspiration, if you need to be inspirational, there's a beautiful book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. You need to read that book. Buy it, read it over and over again. It's a wonderful book. He talks about one concept called incremental improvement. If you improve 1% every day for 365 days, you will get 365% improvement over the course of 1 year. So my goal every day is, okay, today I did this workshop. There are 33 people listening for 1 hour. That means that is 33 into 60 minutes. You could have done something else. If I am able to give you one memorable thing to walk away from this Zoom session today, that means your time return on investment is great. You don't need to be here. You could have done so many other things. So first thing, whenever you go to a Toastmaster meeting, ask yourself, am I getting value for time and money investing myself in this meeting today? Am I giving something of value and money to somebody else? Like sometimes you don't have to give anything. Some people I know, they still come to meetings just to see the other person. Like, I like your face. I like it when you're in the meeting. That's why I come. That is one. Second thing for inspiration, you need to work on yourself every day, like whatever it is, like whether it means hitting the gym or going for a swim or getting a little better than what you were yesterday. Commit to it wholeheartedly and remain eternally curious. You will automatically get inspiration. Like when my daughter plays with something, kids are smart, they find shortcuts in everything that they do. So I keep observing, what is she doing? How does she know this? She's not started school yet, but she's probably naturally already found a way to do certain things. So rely on the freshness and the curiosity of the young and the wisdom of the old. Listen more than you speak. Reflect more than you read. And automatically, when things come out of your mouth, it will be like really great. Like in Indian philosophy, we say that, if you look at the goddess of knowledge is said to be on the tip of your tongue. So there is a practice where you observe silence for X number of minutes or hours in a day as you can tolerate. So much so that they say you should make the goddess of wisdom beg you for an opportunity to come out through your voice. because you're reserved and you're restrained. So same thing applies when you go to club meetings. If you're every day, every time there is no speciality accorded to you. Do an education session once in a blue moon and people will be like, wow, this is fantastic. Look at, see, exoticity comes from scarcity and rareness and quality. So strive to make yourself that. Be the diamond in the DBS shop. Don't be the fake imitation jewelry. Automatically inspiration will happen. Work on yourself every day. I don't think I'm particularly inspirational yet compared to many other people, but I think I'm a work in progress, and I'm happy that you've come up with this thing that you feel that I'm inspirational. But first thing is, get ready to perspire before you inspire. A lot of people want to go to heaven. They're not ready to die. That's the problem. So first, work on yourself. Automatically inspiration will come. And never forget the importance of a mentor. In your life, Toastmasters and work, be the baby. Always be the baby. This is one thing I tell my students. This is one thing I tell a lot of people in organizations. They keep asking me, how do I get promoted? How do I get into leadership? How do I become inspirational? How do I get what I want? How do I make other people happy? Because I myself am not happy yet. I'm like, simple, be a baby. Have you seen a baby? Without knowing communication, without knowing any language, one small cry is enough, dangling the hands and legs up and down. Everybody in the house will rush and go and say, what do you want? Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. So I'm not saying start crying in understandable language from tomorrow morning and people will come and help you. They might take you to the mental hospital. That's a different story. But know how to cry and when to cry and for what to cry. And be humble, simple, and don't be afraid to be naked. Like babies are not afraid to be naked. What I mean, don't remove your clothes and run around on the street. You'll get arrested. What I mean is don't be afraid to be vulnerable. There is nothing to be afraid about. There is nothing to be ashamed about. My father used to always say, be fearless and shameless and be eternally curious. These three things are enough. You will automatically get to inspiration and success. Be fearless, be shameless, and be eternally curious.
Thank you so much, DTM Sujit, for your insights. And may I, Ram, can you please share the slides? Yes, please. My slides. So once again, thank you so much, DTM Sujit, and I'd like to acknowledge the presence also of DTM Sunil Kutratel, immediate past region advisor. 11 advisor is also in the house. Begin a big round of applause, is also in the house. And just a small token from our side, I'd like to extend our thanks on behalf of District PQD. And this is a certificate of appreciation, DTM Sujit, for conducting this valuable session on HPL versus DTM project. And we cannot leave, thank you so much, without thanking also other important members who couldn't have managed to succeed at the event without their help. First of all, start with Toastmaster Surya, our dear Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Mahra, our dear MC, Toastmaster Arnold, who designed all these flyers and backgrounds and everything, and of course our Zoom J, now we call him Zoom J, Ramaswamy, for handling the proceedings of the slides, everything beautifully. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and over to our dear MC to close the session, and looking forward to seeing you next time in another PQD TLI project. Thank you so much. Over to you, Madam MC, Toastmaster Mahra.
Thank you, DTM Rania, and we'll add to that list another certificate to you, DTM Rania, as our district PQD. Thank you so much. So before I close, I would like to ask our Zoom J to take a picture before everyone leaves, just so we can catch everyone.
May I request all the audience to switch on their videos and give you a beautiful smile? Can we have a thumbs up? No one smiling. Please smile. Yes, done. I'm stopping the recording now.
Thank you to our Zoom master. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And this is the beauty of Toastmasters. I believe that you come in for an education about DTM, HPL, and you leave with life lessons that will help you outside of Toastmasters, that will help you even years after you leave Toastmasters. Thank you so much, DTM Sujit, for that wonderful session. And one thing I will go with truly is that what your father said, be fearless, shameless, and curious. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. And thank you to everyone for being here. I hope you go and achieve your DTMs and be fantastic leaders. Thank you, everyone, and good night.